Hello and welcome to the Lou Review podcast. I'm your host, Rosa Hart, and joining me today on the Lou Review is Chris Fulkerson. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Rosa. I'm so excited to be here.
Girl, me too. I am so honored to be in your presence because you are a confidence curator as a keynote speaker, as well as someone who works with people individually. And I have just loved getting to feel empowered every time I get to hear you speak. We met through Toastmasters and the National Speakers Association chapters here in Louisville. And so I've gotten to hear you speak and learn from you quite a few times now. So I'm so honored to get to have you on here and get to share some of the amazing work that I found out you were doing in the community and beyond. So
Well, Rosa, I'm honored that you would have me. Thank you so much. And ditto. I so enjoy being around you and everything you do for the community. So thank you.
Gosh. Well, now that we've established we have a mutual admiration society. So we were talking the other day about a flashback where you were on the news celebrating your birthday party that was Barbie themed and what that has to do with your image consulting. Can you tell us about what that was about and how you got started in that? And then we'll talk about where your journey has taken you.
Sure. When I was getting ready to turn 50, that was a very pivotal moment. It is for a lot of women actually, but I had decided to disappear for my 50th. When I was turning 30, my niece, unbeknownst to me, was planning a surprise birthday party. She's only 8 years younger than I am. And Christmas night, she died of an asthma attack. Now, my dad had died the week after I turned 16. And then my mom passed away when I turned 40. So I'm about to turn 50 and I'm like, I want nothing to do with it. I'm terrified someone's going to die, right? And so if you didn't know this part of the story, did you? So my birthday's between Christmas and New Year's. So I am searching a spa. I want to go to a spa. I want to be by myself. I want this birthday to just cross over and forget about me. Well, because it's between Christmas and New Year's, that nothing was open. And I'm part of the Phillies, Inc., which is an organization of women that support Kentucky Derby Festival. And I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm telling a girlfriend my "oh, woe is me" story. And I have a Barbie necklace on. And she looks at me and she goes, "Have a Barbie party. It's her birthday too." The mindset shift was incredible. All of a sudden, I went from "oh, woe, it's me" to "whoa, you're having a party." And first of all, I believe you are what you eat and drink, wear, and think. Boy, was this a big revelation as far as what I'm thinking. Yes, I have played with Barbies my whole life. I always felt like it was part of how I got into image consulting. I was dressing Barbies as a little girl and then dressing women as an adult. I decided to have a Barbie party. For my 50th, I had 50 girlfriends come dressed as their favorite Barbie. And I had makeup artist Ken there, and he put the pink lips and the eyelashes on everybody. And it was, when you have a party with all women, it's a total different energy. So then I did it again for my 60th. I decided I wanted to have a 60th. I have girlfriends there. I had one on my 50th, a different house on my 60th. I call them the Barbie Dream House. And we had 60 girlfriends come at my 60th party. And yes, I will have my 70th and probably 75th, 80th. My goal in life is to have my 100th Barbie party. I want to be standing up straight, have my mind, and not be wearing Depends. That's my goal.
Girl, that'll be amazing. Hashtag goals. Are you gonna have it on a Greek island or in Japan, like somewhere in a blue zone?
Well, that is really a good question. I've been having them in Louisville because if I'm turning 70 and I want 70 friends to come, I don't know that I can get them all on a Greek island.
That's fair. Yeah. I was just thinking blue zones because they all get to be sitting
right. Yes. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I'll think on that.
Well, you can do that solo trip, and then your 70 people can be here in Louisville. I mean, this
Correct.
podcast
Yeah.
is about Louisville. It's all good. I'm not trying to get people to leave for real.
But that was kind of like my journey with what you saw. And what you saw
Mhm.
was I was on Great Day Live, and Angie Fenton at the time was on the show, and she was interviewing me with I had my Barbie dress on. I was very transparent at the time. When I turned 50, you got to get the Barbie dress.
Mhm.
And I was asked by the Phillies when Barbie was turning 60, because we're the same age. When she was turning
Nice.
60, they were having a Barbie fashion show because their meeting was on the day of Barbie's actual birthday. It's in
Oh,
March.
okay.
So mine's not till December. She's a little bit older than I am. So I said to them, "Oh my gosh, yes, I would love to MC. I have the perfect dress." So here it is. I go home, I pull out my Barbie dress from turning 50,
Mhm.
and I put it on, and I stand there and I'm like, "Okay," I'm asking my husband, "Okay, zip me up." And he's trying to zip me up. He says, "Chris, you're gonna have to go and have, your alteration scalp at gussets in the side because it wouldn't zip." I was
Oh,
like, "Oh, no, I'm not." And I said, "Just take a picture. I'm going to see, how far I have to go." And I had a good ways to go. And that was when had started the faster way to fat loss, which my husband did not know I was doing it because I didn't want him to hear of yet another diet that I was doing. Although that one's not really a diet. I just didn't want him rolling his eyes at me and asking a bunch of questions.
oh,
So 3 weeks later, that dress zipped up. And yeah, it was I wore it. I've worn it. I wore it to the Barbie movie when they had that
oh
about a
yeah.
couple of summers ago. Had a bunch of girlfriends over, and we had a little cupcake prosecco party before we went to the movie. And I wore it. So it's like my weight really doesn't fluctuate anymore. I'm so happy with all of that.
That's
That that's
great. Well,
that is my Barbie story.
yeah, and so tell us more about what you were doing at the time as far as image consulting for people. Were you just helping people with their closets, or what else did that include?
I was doing many different things. When I first started in image consulting, I did a lot of speaking. I was doing workshops. I also got certified in fashion feng shui, which was just tons of fun. But yes, I also worked in closets. Women they need permission to let go of things sometimes. And a lot of times it was cleaning out the closet, what no longer serves them, or it was just building 5 new outfits out of what they had, or
Mm,
it was actually shopping with them. So I could shop with them, or I also sold a line of clothing. And I've sold a couple different lines, very high end to middle end. And I realized in working with women, if they weren't happy internally with themselves, it didn't matter how much the outfit cost.
mhm,
They just weren't happy with it. And women being unhappy with themselves and not feeling the worth that they need is my whole mission. That is my passion. Life is short, and I've known that from all the loss in my life personally. And I want women to embrace where they are and who they are and build on that. And you can feel better, and you can transform to however you want. We just over time, women end up life gets heavy and they forget to say yes to themselves. I know that I went for so long saying no, I forgot what yes even sounded like. I know the feeling. So I want everyone, women, I know that you can so much. Again, is mindset. But that's why I do say you are what you eat and drink, wear, and think. All of that wrapped up together transforms a woman. I've seen it, I've lived it, and that's what I wake up thinking about every day.
and so now you have a framework that you
Mhm.
teach, and you travel all over the country teaching it as a keynote speaker, and you teach workshops and things. Tell us some more about that and how you took it on the road.
I love F words, not that one. My favorites are food, fashion, fun, friendship, and fitness. I only take the top three, like my top three as far as workshops goes, depending on if it's a typical 1 hour workshop. If it's longer, we can add more F words to it. But I do take the food and the fashion and the fitness. Those are the three. I think they're really good starts for women. Maybe not all of it at once, but there's things it's not as complicated as
Right.
what women think. And they also need a bit to build up their confidence in making their own decisions. I have a perfect example. Over the weekend, I was with girlfriends. We went to Bowling Green to watch the Miss Kentucky pageant. I have a girlfriend whose daughter was in who won first runner up. Just so heartbreaking, but we always go, and we've gone for years. We shop a little bit, and we go into a store, and there was this T-shirt, and it said America on it, and it was a crop T-shirt. It had a crew neck, all the things I don't like for myself. And every one of my friends are buying one. But I didn't because I didn't like it for me. I knew I was going to be wasting money. And that's the thing with women. You don't have to do the trends. You don't have to do what your sisters tell you to wear or your mother tells you to wear or your grandmother or whoever you're with. I want women to be confident enough to be able to say yes to themselves and no to expectations people have of you. They expect you to act a certain way or do a certain thing. And, taking care, saying yes to yourself is not selfish, it is self care. And if we don't keep our cups full, we can't, the whole family, everybody around us kind of caves if we're not taking care of ourselves. And on the other hand, if we are, and we have the joy and the confidence and the vitality, everyone around us feels it. And you become a great role model for all those younger ones who are watching because they are watching.
So true. And see, I guess I was scrolling social media and I saw something about how men see there's the self-sacrifice of their mothers and then that's what they come to like expect, right? And daughters see the self-sacrifice of their mothers and then they feel that pressure to live up to it. So if we don't want it to be perpetuated for our children, like if the way we're living is not the way we want our children to be living when they're adults, then this is our chance to make a change consciously and sometimes verbalize that to them. Like I have young kids, my daughter's 10 and my son is
Mhm.
16. And so as I'm trying to grow and change, I try to verbalize, what I'm doing differently or apologize for things that I've done when I'm like, you know what? I don't want you to think that this is the way it needs to be. So let's talk about it and
And
reprogram
I
your
love
brain.
that.
Don't get stuck in these patterns just because you saw me doing this.
Well, and I love that you said I talked to them about it. It's like I'm setting boundaries with so and so relative because, and let them understand why your actions are what they are. And yes, that empowers you, and then it empowers them to make good decisions about their own boundaries.
And a lot of people, I think, leave things unsaid, right?
Mm.
Or they want to shelter their children from the realities of life. But if they're going to be prepared to deal with them, we got to kind of give them the language to deal with things and to know
Absolutely.
that if they encounter that situation later, that is something that you have dealt with that you can speak to in their life. So that's
Absolutely. And you
encouraging.
bring up a really good point about the younger ones because there's so much more pressure with social media and the expectations that society puts on women. I mean, I've just noticed for years that how society teaches women to judge themselves and to shrink themselves and to question themselves. And our younger girls especially need to learn how worthy they are at a young age. And with that comes the responsibility of taking care of themselves physically and mentally. And it's a big job and it's tough with all the social media and what is put out there. So
Well, I appreciate you putting out uplifting content. So you and I met, as I alluded to earlier, through combination of Toastmasters and the National Speakers Association. I joined both in January and you were there. And so I got like double dose of Chris.
yeah.
How long have you been part of those and has that been impactful in your speaking business?
They have both been very impactful. Probably 10, 12 years ago, I was part of another Toastmasters group.
Oh, wow.
And that was back when they had the books, Rosa, and you didn't have pathways. They're online. You would take your book and you would sign off when you did certain speeches. I went through the book and thought, okay, I'm finished. And now I have, through certain talks that I've done, I've realized it really is a calling for me that I do have material to share, experiences to share. And I kept seeing friends of mine from another in the WOW network being on, posting about this Toastmasters group. And I was very curious, and I called up one of the gals and asked about it, and I went to visit. And as you know, Rosa, the energy at 6:30 in the morning
It's
is amazing. I love it. Well, then I saw them in NSA. And
Mhm,
I had gone to NSA meetings for years, but I had never joined. And there was a certain speaker that was coming to town, and I thought, gosh, that sounds interesting. And your very first time you go, as a guest, you don't have to pay for that course or that speaker. And I went, I was blown away by that. So I feel like I have this new circle of friends, including Rosa, that is back there cheering me on. And especially in Toastmasters, when
mhm,
you do a speech, you're evaluated.
mhm.
I love that. And you have one person who is about evaluating in front of everyone, but everyone has little piece of paper to write down evaluation. Then you also have your grammarian who's telling you how many times you say so and like and and all the words that I have had to really work on not saying. I'm very much a so person.
Yeah,
So
me too.
a lot of, and many people start their sentences with that. When you ask them a
Really?
question, they go, so, and they'll go on doing social media, doing reels. I catch myself when I watch it back.
Right?
I can't believe how many times I said that. And I
Mm.
work very hard at not doing it, but it's tough.
It is, it is. And I get really spoiled because I record these podcasts on this platform called Riverside, and it couldn't just remove all the ums with a click of a button. So if I listen to myself on the edited version, I'm like, oh, I'm so good at this. Then I go back and listen to the raw version, and I'm like, oops, there's a lot of ums in there.
We're always a work in progress, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I really wanted to highlight that because I think there are so many amazing people in Louisville that are doing work that is just a blessing to the community and humanity. And they have a message
Yeah.
to get out there. And there
Yeah.
are these amazing resources of mentorship where people like you who've been doing this for like a decade can speak into their lives and encourage them. One thing that made me want to join Toastmasters when I visited was there was constructive criticism that was given, but whenever someone has that, they say, I have a gift for you.
Yes. I
Because
know.
this is
I
how it
love
can be
that.
better. Instead of you did this wrong, it's this is a way you can make it better. And then you take that, make it better, and then you get, get paid to speak somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's just such an encouraging framing to put it in.
The other really gift that I have received from Toastmasters is storytelling. And actually NSA as well. I did compete in the storytelling competition.
Yes.
I didn't realize all that went into telling a story. And I've learned so much through all of that. And I have found stories are really what draw people in when you're telling stories. I've loved that about
That's so
both
true.
both organizations.
Exactly. And I think that's so key right now as we are learning how much we need to communicate better. Like, how do we need to do it? Especially like in my day job, I am in healthcare. And, the pandemic showed that there was a lot of messaging out there that just did not hit home, right? There was a lot of health related messaging. A lot of people in healthcare get frustrated because misinformation gets adopted really easily, whereas this quote unquote legit information just like hits a brick wall. Well, a lot of it has to do with delivery and whether or not you're delivering it, yes, truly and authentically as a human person and not sounding patronizing or whatever, but also storytelling. There's a
Yeah.
reason why people who are really good at storytelling are some of the most effective communicators. And so I think that is something that a lot of people in healthcare especially need to learn for better communication.
And Rosa, just like our Toastmaster group, there's a lot of individuals in there who are not in there to be keynote speakers.
Right.
They are leading groups in their employment. There's gentlemen in there that are retired.
Mhm.
And I honestly don't know why they're in there, but I'm glad they are because we learn
Yeah,
a
they're
lot from
fun.
them.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of different reasons why people want to become better communicators through
Mhm.
Toastmasters. Now, the NSA, that's the majority of them are keynote
Right.
speakers, workshops, etc.
Yeah, exactly. I do love that the levels of not I don't want to say commitment, but the levels of like you can enter in more casually if you just are like public speaking is my number one fear and I want to overcome that and have like a gentle way to ease into it in a supportive environment with Toastmasters or a lot of people like yourself might be working on something more intense that like a speech you're going to get paid to give somewhere
Mhm.
and you want to polish it up. And so you might give it at NSA, but you might give it at Toastmasters as well for that additional feedback and additional practice. And so it's a really awesome assortment of people, and it's neat to hear as things evolve as well.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, what does your business look like right now? Are you still doing the image consulting like on an individual basis, or are you mostly speaking to groups, or what does that look like for you?
I am mostly speaking to groups. I have actually one coming up for Dress for Success Louisville, which I'm
Yay!
so excited about. I'm their opening speaker. I've been involved with Dress for Success for over 17 years. And I started out as just going to one of it was a fundraiser years ago called the Suit and Salad Luncheon, where you had a salad for lunch and then they had a fashion show with the clients who were modeling clothes from their boutique. When
Oh.
I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to be part of this because I've produced fashion shows for over 30 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
Definitely, yes. Another aspect of me.
You just pulled that out of your back
I
pocket.
did that, I did. And I got on the board and we had, if you want to hear one story
Yeah.
of one of the gals that was amazing to me, so since I have these stories, I'm the opening speaker, right? Because I have all these clients that when they would do the Student Salad Luncheon, the Dress for Success employees would select the clients that were going to model.
Mhm.
This particular show, I wanted to call it Turning Over a New Leaf. And I would go in on the day they're getting fitted and I would ask them questions because I wrote the script and I wanted to see, what their story is. But that particular one, I wanted to know one word that would describe how they felt walking into Dress for Success for the first time. So I'm with this girl and we'll call her Katie. Katie says, I ask her that question and her word was devastated. And I was, all right, Katie, that's, a big word. Do you want to tell me the story? Why you're saying that? So she proceeds to tell me because our Suit and Salad Luncheon was in September. And she was telling me the Christmas before that. She was a single mom living in an apartment. It's right before Christmas, very excited about Christmas, the holidays. Her little girl was 7, so very excited. And there's a fire in the apartment. She wakes up in March from a coma to find out she had lost everything in that apartment, including her daughter. Yes, Rosa. And
Oh.
she is sitting there telling me this story with tears running down. I jump up, I hug her, and we just sobbed. We sobbed. We were just like two women just
Oh.
holding this pain and this heartbreak. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, but she's still standing. She is here. And she is sharing her story in a fashion show on a stage, being seen. Talk about saying yes to yourself. And, it was still so raw and real. So what we did for this show that was very cool, we wanted to show a transformation, like immediate. I think we had maybe 6 or 7 clients that were modeling, and I had that word, right? So we had this big rectangle poster. They had their word. I wanted them to come out and maybe something they were wearing the first time they went to Dress for Success. In this case, Katie's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. We had makeup artist and hairstylist in the back, and we wanted to do that really quick
Mhm.
transformation to really visually see. So we started their eye makeup and had them wear sunglasses. So they're
Mm,
out there, they're walking. Her word is devastated. She's walking. We're
yeah.
telling her story. She goes down the runway. She comes back. She turns around and she flips the card to her word is now, which was encouraged. And then they went backstage, changed into the boutique outfit. But it was just so talk about saying yes to yourself. I mean, sometimes, and we all have stories, right? All of us women have stories, maybe not that devastating and dramatic, but we have a story because of heartbreak or job loss or, sports. I mean, just so many things in our lives that make us feel heavy, and we stop asking for help. We do what people expect of us. And so through Dress for Success, I've seen some amazing women. So I will tell you this whole full circle moment with her. Years later, I ran into her at a restaurant, and she had a husband and a little boy. And it just made me so happy for her. And so many of these women have good stories, the ones who are ready to say yes to themselves and accept the help. Because I'm telling you, when you give women a chance and dignity and direction and community, amazing things can happen, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm super excited about that one. And I have another one I am doing for image consultants in Florida. That is a conference called Ignite. That is in October. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I have those. Those are two biggies I'm so excited about.
Well, I know that they're going to be inspired because I definitely am every time I get to
Oh,
listen. So
thank
thank you
you.
for sharing your encouragement and your wisdom. And gosh, that story is all I can do to keep from crying right now.
There's two more stories in there that are, yes, they're
It's
they're
loaded.
big, but and that's why I love organizations like Dress for Success,
Mhm.
because they do. You know what I found out today that they
What?
do? Before school starts, starting in July, they give all teachers 5 outfits to start the school
What?
year.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I didn't know
I
that.
know. That made me so happy today. I was in their offices, and she was talking about how she needed some, they have individuals that help with fittings and dressing everyone. And she said,
Yeah.
we need more. So if anybody's out here listening to this and you like dressing women, Dress for Success Louisville could definitely use your help for sure.
Well, that's fantastic. And also, if you're a female teacher and you need some outfit, get
Right?
in there in July, right? Do they
And
need
I'm
a
telling you,
hat?
they have beautiful things in this
Oh,
boutique.
for
It
sure.
is amazing to me what women donate to Dress for Success. And they don't just have they're not necessarily even suits. You have pants, they have industrial, like for those who work in hospitals and industrial kind of clothing. They'll
Mhm.
have the handbags and the shoes and
Mhm.
just all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then isn't there also like a mobile version? I had somebody
Yes.
from Dress for
Yes.
Success on. What is that? How's that work nowadays?
They actually go out to the counties where women can't get to Dress for Success.
Oh.
A lot of the women that go in, well, not a lot, but I don't know how many, but
Mhm.
they need a bus. They need
Mhm.
the bus transportation or some type of transportation. They're on Crittenden Drive. So
Mhm.
some way to get to their facility. And these counties, Henry County and even Southern Indiana, we go there, they
Mhm.
don't always have that transportation to get to them. So they take the clothes out to the counties, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, if someone's listening to this and they want to engage you as a speaker or to teach a workshop for them, what is the best way for them to reach you?
You can reach me on my website. It is fwordstoliveby.com.
Well, that's fun.
You can reach me there. I'm on Instagram. You can message me. It's Chris_Fulkerson. Those are probably the two easiest ways to
Okay.
get a hold of
I will
me.
have those linked in the show notes below so
Awesome.
that
Oh,
people
yeah.
can just tap
LinkedIn.
on it.
Mhm.
And I really appreciate you coming on the Lou Review because this is a podcast all about showcasing the people, the businesses, and organizations that make Louisville, Kentucky a great place to be. And you're definitely one of those shining
Oh,
star
thank
people.
you. It is a great
And your
place to be.
story alone highlights all these different aspects of great things going on in town that are uplifting so
Mm.
many other people in the community. So I really appreciate you sharing that today.
Oh, absolutely. And one other
Mhm.
big fashion show I did a couple years ago,
Okay.
Wags Pet Therapy. That's another
Yes.
organization close to my heart. With their 25th anniversary, we did a dog fashion show, and it was right before Derby. So the dog and the model were dressed the same. It was amazing.
Oh, too cute. Now, you said your husband works with them,
He
right?
does. Yes, he's past president. And then he takes Nala, our dog, our therapy dog, to U of L Hospital, to Brown Cancer Center, and then there's 4 different schools. But obviously, during summer, they're not visiting the schools, but they have a lot of special events that they go to as well.
Yeah. And did you get him to walk in the fashion show?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, no, well, yes, we did. We
You
had
did?
professional models
Yeah.
walking with the dogs, but they were dog people. So that was kind of important that they like dogs.
See, I thought
And
we
we
were
had all aspects from, the infield looks to gala looks to Oaks Day to Derby Day to all the different looks. So I told them when they have their 30th anniversary, I want to do that again. It was
oh, for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were going to say that your husband walked the runway because I did get my husband to walk the runway for Mister's for MS a while back. He dressed as Superman
Oh,
and it was
I
pretty
love
good.
it.
Yeah. So, well, I really appreciate you coming on here. And for those who are listening, if you enjoyed this episode of the Lou Review podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube. And leave me a comment and let me know if you know of another mover and shaker in Louisville or the surrounding area that should get a spotlight for the amazing work that they're doing or the amazing way they're playing. Come on, let's be real. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
who wouldn't even call what they're doing work because it's just so fun for them. So send those my way as well. And I will see you in the next episode.